Hello friends, Amanda with you here today, and I'm super excited to be sharing with you these really two cute ATC cards that I've made using the Let It Snow clear stamp set from La La Land Crafts. I wanted my snowmen to have this frosty cold feel, so I went ahead and used some purples and some blues. The first purple is the BV02, my second is B63, and then my blue is B32, and then I go in with a C1. I'm just touching around all of the little nooks and crannies that would be covered up by either the scarf or the hat or underneath the chin with that first dark color. And then I'm going to be taking my colors and just working them out ever so slightly, and then coming in with my C1 and blending that all out. These snowmen are super adorable, and I know they're for Christmas, but I figured I would give them a more wintry look instead of Christmas look. So that is why I chose a pink and green theme. I feel like it looked more Valentine-y and just all around cute. It's a fun way to extend your product to maybe not be a winter or a Christmas card. You can make it a Valentine's Day card or just a winter. ATC cards for me are something that I've really enjoyed doing. It helps spring forward some creativity, and I store them in a little tin next to my desk, and if I get stumped I just pull them out and I just kind of go through them and oh, I like this idea, oh, I like this idea, and I just kind of pull it from there. Here you can see that I'm using my C1 and pulling out the color, and then I take my Zero blender and I'm just kind of dulling down that C1. For me it was just a little too dark, so I'm just gonna lighten it up just a little bit. On to the cheeks. R20 and R00 are my go-to for cheeks. I love this blend, so that's the one I always go to. Isn't she looking cute? YR09 I'm going to use for the nose, and then YR24, and I meant to pick up YR14, so I made an oops. You'll see, I'll fix it. Y26, I'm going to try to knock back that YR24 just a little bit, and then YR14. On my other snowman, it's just the YR09 and the YR14. Here's the E47 for his little, or her, little arms and part of the mug. She's so cute with her little coffee mug in the cold, cold winter snow. All right. I'm just giving her little notches where her elbows would be and all that. And then the E55 to blend out that other dark E57. I'm also going to use that on the mug. And then I'm going to be using E31 for the bottom part of her mug. She's so cute. Like I said, I wanted her to be a Valentine style colored little snowman instead of Christmas. So we're going to use R22 and then R20 and R00 for her pinks. And for her greens, even on the other snowman, this also goes, is G94, YG63, and G21 for the greens. This is a super cute, easy, fast way to color. I like giving them details and all that fun stuff. So this isn't too detaily, but it's just a quick lines, easy, pretty simple to do. Now on to our green. I'm going to do the same as I did with the pink. I'm going to go to one side and make that side darker and then work my color out from there. By doing that, you make it kind of feel like it's a bit bumpy, and where the ridges are, that's where it is indented. So just picking one side and then pulling out the color to the other side. So I'll have all of my colors and products that I've used listed in the description box below for your convenience. And while you're down there, I would love it if you'd drop me a comment or give me some thumbs up. Let me know that you're enjoying this video. I am super excited to be coming to you every other week. I'd be really excited to see if you decide to make these cards with me, if you share them in the La La Land Crafts Facebook group page, and make sure you tag me so I can go love on your projects. Here you can see I've used W5, W3, and W1 for just the tips of her hat, and now giving her some white gel detail pens to make her look extra cute and festive. I'm also curious to know, do you like extending your products? Do you use them for different things? Do you try to extend your products and use them in different ways? I'd be interested to find that out as well. Here we are going on to our second snowman and doing the exact same thing like we did before. Taking the same colors and just blending them out and going in different places. You'll see at the top of his hat that he has a holly, and I'm not going to be using that holly, and it may look weird, but I'm going to actually cut it off and then use a white gel pen to cover up where the lines are so that it doesn't look like I chopped something off, so to speak. We're going to be putting a snowflake there instead, and that snowflake is from the Snowflake Ornament Die set. I'm just using the smaller snowflake of the two. I love making snowmen look frosty, so these purple, blue, and gray combos really achieve that look for me. He's coming together. Taking that last blue color and now the C1 and dragging that out, and I'll do the same thing with my 0 blender and dull that C1 down just a little bit. So cute. There's that 0 blender. Now our cheeks again, R20 and R00. I will also be using that for the brim of his hat and as well as the scarf and the heart. Just making those dark lines, making them look like little ridges, and going from there. Down in the comment section, if you could leave me a comment as, do you make Valentine's Day cards or winter cards? I would love to know that. To get that shine on the top of his hat, I'm taking the darker color and then the R20 and then the R00 and blending out from there, from just the edges, just so it gives it that middle shine. Just finishing up with that R00, and then we're going to move on to our greens. Again, our greens are G94, YG63, and G21 for that minty muted look. I'm taking my darker green and I'm butting it right up next to the light pink so that it gives that ripple look. That way it looks like it's casting a shadow, and then you move on from the next green and the next green after that. For the top hat, we are using G9, G7, and G5. And like I said, we are not coloring the holly, that will get chopped off. YR09 and then the YR14 for the nose on this adorable little snowman. He's coming together. E57 and E55 for the arms on this little guy. If you look at the snowman, he has little notches right around his arms along with the other one. That's where I decided to put my shadows. I kind of gave him little elbows, and then I can use my E55 and just drag out the color from there. Almost done. The C9, the C7, and the C5 are the ones that I'm using for the hat, and I'm using the dark colors on just the one side of the snowman. If you can see, his head's tipped up just a little bit, so the darker shades are going to be on the other side of his hat. So that is why I'm going with that. And I went right over the holly. You don't need to worry about that. We're not going to see it. A snowflake is going to cover it up. Getting his buttons, and the shadows will be at the bottom. I'm using hammer mill cardstock for my coloring. I've used it for years. I love this paper. I don't see a need to use for anything else, but you use what you feel is best. But I'm using hammer mill paper. Getting the last of those buttons. And we're adding our white gel detail. I did it off camera. You didn't see me, but after I cut my snowflake out, I noticed that you would see just a little bit of the pink, so I went ahead and I colored it in. Here's the white gel pen. We're just going to do it just where it would hang off where there's no stamp anymore. So just coloring those in so you don't see those, and then adding the rest of the white gel pen. I have used the double stitched rectangles die for my A2 size. And we are using worn lipstick distress ink, and just with a blending brush, just going into the middle of that ATC and blending out the color. The stencil that I'm going to be using is So Many Dots layering stencil, and we're going to do just a quick swipe over everything. Then we're going to pick the stencil up and we're going to shift it for that bokeh look. I love this. This is so cool. Look at all those dots. And we're going to do it the same on this one. After I'm done with the stencil, I'm going to take my ATC cards to my splat box, and I'm going to splatter on some white splatter and let it dry. I thought I needed just a little bit more. So cute. All right, and that Snowflake Ornament Die, just going to glue it onto the top of his hat, and he's ready to go. He's talking to his little lovely girl snowman, and that's it, really. Gluing down our little snowman, adding our sentiments, and these ATCs will be complete. I hope you guys had a wonderful time. I hope you give it a try, and make sure you comment down below. Let me know you loved it. We'll see you next time, friends. Have a great day. Bye.